$25. And check out Brewster's in Hendersonville today and bring home the taste of joy. Experience the magic of homemade happiness this season with Brewster's Real Ice Cream.
You've heard of AI. We want you to know that some messages and content we broadcast is produced using AI. All content produced or written with AI is supervised by our staff before airing. AI is only a tool for all of us, and we use it for that purpose. You can be assured that we will not use AI in any way that is unworthy of your trust.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome on kind of a dreary, rainy Monday in Nashville, Tennessee, from our digs at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. We got a lot to get into today, so let's get right to it. Let's head to Murfreesboro and say hello to Mr. Kelly Holcomb.
What's up, George? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Got home at midnight last night. Quick trip up to Columbia, Missouri and back. I don't know if you can say quick trip, but
ooh, that's about a 6-hour deal, isn't it?
About 6.5.
Yeah.
6.5. So we got up at 6:30 yesterday morning, got into town there at 1 o'clock, watched the game from 3 to 5. Had a chance too. Kind of, was with them for the whole game, and then the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, Lipscomb kind of they went cold, and Missouri started hitting shots, so didn't end up well.
Good scenic trip, though. You go right through the heart of St. Louis. You went by the ballpark, didn't you?
We did. I think we did. Yeah, we had to. Yeah. We went by the ballpark. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I've seen it. I know you've been there. You've frequented quite a few times. So,
my goodness. Over the years, a lot. Nice casino nearby.
Yeah, I know. It's what's it called? Ameristar?
The Lumiere.
Okay. There's another one too right across the river.
There's 2 or 3 of them. Casino Queen.
I think there's Ameristar.
Yeah,
Casino,
I think you're right. I think there's a third one. And Billy, how are you today?
I'm good. I can't wait to talk about these Titans, man.
Is that so?
It's always a blast this time of year.
Okay, with that in mind, during football season, we begin every show with our daily Titans update with Mr. Terry McCormick. What in the world is that thing?
That's just a hoodie.
What can Terry wear? What is Terry allowed to wear?
Terry's allowed to wear anything he wants.
We had Yankees garb on, and now he's got an Under Armour.
I'm trying to figure out if that's – wait a minute. That's an Under Armour where you've got 2 things that look like some sort of an animal. Yeah, okay. Under Armour. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's get to boiling it down to the low gravy, because we are certainly going to do that today.
Gravy, George?
I don't know. It's just a saying that I've heard over the years, and so I'm stealing it from somebody. So, did yesterday, basically for all intents and purposes, end the Will Levis experiment?
Long term, I'd probably say yeah. I don't know if there's anything, unless he gets another opportunity somehow and comes in and plays lights out, I don't see how it's going to get back on track for him after yesterday. And, that's just kind of the sad reality of him playing so poorly. I think it's a situation where, some of this is because of a deficient roster, but ultimately a lot of this is on him with making bad decisions with the football in the circumstance that he's in. Brian Callahan still hasn't come out and declared who his starting quarterback will be this week against the Colts. but I would be surprised if he rolls it back out with Will Levis immediately.
Okay, question number 2. Does he have to get Amy's approval to bench Levis permanently?
He did not say that today when he was asked who all would be, and her name was thrown in there as far as the mentioning who would be the decision makers. He acted as though it would be the coaching staff, himself, Rand Carthon, and Chad Brinker making the decision. But I got to think that if Amy Adams Strunk has a vote, it will be heard.
Okay, I'll throw Kelly into this later when we get into the whole stuff from yesterday. And I want to be very careful, because about the time you say, well, this is a guarantee that this person can't play in this league, a couple of things pop up. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Terry, in your opinion, what is it that is causing the biggest problem for Levis?
Well, some of it obviously is the talent around him and the fact that, he's a young quarterback trying to learn. But here's something, and, Brian Callahan said he didn't feel like this was it, but I do feel like this is it. Kelly, tell me if you see it judging from afar. Yesterday, he turned the ball over 4 times. Well, Joe Burrow had 3 turnovers yesterday, but he also came back with 3 touchdown passes. I think when you watch Will Levis and the way he plays the game, you see that when things are going well for him, when he finds a rhythm, he looks really good. Remember the 98-yard touchdown pass against the Vikings? That unlocked something in him, and he played fantastic not only for that game but the Houston game after that. But then when something goes wrong for him, right now he does not seem to be able, for the most part. He did overcome the pick 6 in Houston, but for the most part, when something goes haywire, and things are apt to go haywire on this Titans team, there's no doubt about that. It seems like he's either unable to or is lacking the confidence to right the ship. When it gets sideways, it goes completely into the ditch most of the time, and I think that's what he's got to learn to do if he wants to be a quality starting quarterback in this league.
That is a tough deal, Terry, and I can remember this situation where Brad Johnson, I don't know if y'all remember it, but I think it was the year that they won the Super Bowl, and he went to Philly and he threw 4 picks in the first half, and then he came back in the second half and threw 4 touchdowns. Not many guys can do that, and I can remember I had a game when I was in San Francisco when it was when Jeff Garcia was out there and Terrell Owens and all those guys, and it was 12-0 going into the fourth quarter, and I'd broken my leg, which was dumb on me to keep playing. But we had 2 drives left, and we scored on both of those drives and beat those guys 13-12. So as long as your defense can keep going and keep you in the game, there's going to be things that go up and down. But you're right. Like I saw Joe Burrow when I'm watching the stuff online. He made mistakes too, but he doesn't let that affect him. He just keeps going, and that's what separates good ones from the guys that don't have it.
Yeah. Kelly, I'm going to ask you this because I looked up on Pro Football Reference. I looked through your career game logs. There were a couple of games you had where things didn't go so well. How did you bounce back from that? How did you reconcile it in your mind that, hey, got to put this one behind me? Can't fret that I gave up, a walk-off homer here. I got to come back and pitch to the next guy.
It was getting myself up out of bed. That's what my wife told my son that not too long ago. When the whole world, you feel like the whole world is crumbling down on you, and sometimes it's hard. I mean, you can go into some depression. It's a tough deal, but you just have to get up out of bed, have to go get ready for the day, and then go to work. And it's sometimes that's tough to do, Terry. It really is, especially if you don't have a good supporting cast. And right now, supporting cast on the field for him is not there. But, and I know that George and I will talk about it, but hey, I've seen Dan Marino do some bad things, but you know who he is, and he's got that mental capability of coming back. That's what Will Levis has got to get to if he's going to be a player in this league. And I know that everybody's wanting to give up on him. I don't know, man. I've been in those situations, and it is so tough to get out of, but you just got to pick it up. You got to go to work. You got to kind of forget the outside crowd noise. You got to forget what everybody's saying about you on social media and on Sports Center, and you got to go to work, and hopefully you get another shot, because sometimes you don't get other shots, and hopefully he gets another one.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about Sports Center. This team hadn't been brought up on ESPN since July. There, you never hear the first word about this team.
That's right.
Anyway,
unless it's just embarrassing enough to where
haven't heard much of anything. Terry, thank you for the visit. Look forward to doing more of this tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
Terry McCormick, Daily Titans Update here on the show. Terry, of course, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. Hello, Billy.
Well, we got a loaded update today. It's brought to you by
Yep.
Yeah.
Loaded.
Wow.
Sure we do.
Okay.
Locked and Loaded. It's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. You can find her online at mortgageladyusa.com or give her a call, 615-969-4350. Monday night doubleheader tonight. Bears at the Vikings, 7 o'clock on ABC. The Falcons are at the lowly Raiders. The Falcons need a win to stay in the hunt in the playoffs. That one's at 7:30 on ESPN. So a couple games tonight. But a couple other NFL notes. The 49ers will suspend linebacker Devondre Campbell 3 games for refusing to enter last week's game against the Rams. This essentially ends his season.
Why are they not just simply saying, look, you quit, you're done, we're not paying you squat? And then force, if the players' union wants to make an issue out of it, the public is not going to back the players' union when the player just up and quits.
There's got to be something else involved there, but the Niners are mathematically alive for the playoffs, but behind 4 other teams for the 7th and final spot. After being pulled from yesterday's game because of an injured right ankle, Patrick Mahomes said he was unclear whether he'd be available to play on Saturday against the Texans. Carson Wentz is waiting in the wings if he can't go on Saturday. But according to Ian Rappaport, tests confirmed he suffered a mild high ankle sprain. His status is week to week. So that's the latest on Patrick Mahomes. Also, Navy beats Army Saturday in America's game.
Navy beat the hell out of Army.
Yeah, the Army almost didn't show up in that one. Blake Horvath, 4 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground as they win 31-13. And then later that night, Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy. He's Colorado's 2nd Heisman winner following Rashaan Salam.
Wow. Hey, Kelly, one of the things that I guess surprised me a little bit, besides the fact that Army was a complete no-show in the game, I thought their game plan was stupid. Navy kept throwing up an 8-man front, and they kept trying to run, quarterback run straight into it. They must have run that play 25 times. But one thing I noticed, I've always thought these schools had great respect for each other, but I saw a lot of post-scrimmage skirmishes. That was disappointing to me.
George, I got to go down to watch Middle play. I think it was Navy,
and they bowl
played
game.
in the bowl game at TCU down in Fort Worth. And after the game, I heard some of the guys that were on the coaching staff of Middle when I was still doing the games. I heard that those Navy. And I hate to say this, but they were some of the dirtiest guys that they'd ever played. They were doing stuff in the pile. It was kind of bad. And I don't know because I've never been there, but I'm just listening to those guys and listening to how they were. And there were some guys that got retaliation flags on Middle that day because of some of the things that Navy was doing. So it's a cool game, but man, you hear some things. I don't know because I've never been part of that, but that's such an unbelievable spectacle and the ball. But talking about the 8-man front, George, like, did you watch the Army kid throw the ball? He can't throw it in the ocean.
Yeah.
So I'd put as many guys up there as I could because, hey, if that guy beats me throwing the football, I'll shake your hand at the end of the game and say, You got me today, man. Your guy played good, but I'm going to put everybody up there in the box, and I'm going to stop the run game. I'm not going to allow their run game to beat me. I'm going to make the quarterback, and he just can't do it because he can't throw the ball. He had a wide open receiver in the end zone, which would have made it even closer and might have got some momentum going, but he just can't throw.
Got some other college football news. Wake Forest coach Dave Clawson is stepping down. He's expected to remain with the university in an advisory role, and the decision to step down was his. Not stunning to me. I mean, they haven't been up to par and they made 7 straight bowl games. The last few years have not been as good in Winston-Salem. So Dave Clawson.
That's a tough job.
Yeah, stepping down. Penn State quarterback Drew Aller will return next season for his senior year, but their backup, Bo Perbula, has entered the transfer portal and will not play in Saturday's game against SMU. He cited an overlapping college football playoff and transfer portal timeline. He's played a good bit this year. I don't know why.
First of all, we need to come to some rule where a kid doesn't have to put that out there.
Somebody was telling me this, Billy, and I don't know if you know this, but somebody was telling me out of all the playoff teams, there's like 42 guys that have entered the transfer portal from the playoff team. So, and most of them are backups. So just like Nick Saban talked about, there's no depth anymore. What's going to happen? Say your right guard goes down for the University of Texas and the other guy that was behind him has entered the transfer portal and he's not playing. He's gone. Like that could be a huge impact on this 12-team playoffs.
But SMU, their backup quarterback Preston Stone entered the portal, but he's staying with the team. I don't know why. There's something else going on here. Either James Franklin told this guy to kick rocks, or his agent said, but your team's in the playoff. Why you get a chance to play in a playoff game and you're going to skip out on it?
This is one of the sad things about the new world order in college football. It really is.
And every year there's more coaches that get out, and the latest is Dave Clawson. But a coach that is not getting out yet, although we'll see how long he survives at Florida State. Mike Norvell has agreed to a 1-year restructured contract that includes a $4.5 million contribution to help launch a new university initiative to raise money for revenue sharing and facilities. This is a sign of the times. Brian Kelly at LSU and Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State are doing similar things with their contracts. So,
this feels like this is going to be the wave of the future, where the school's going to go to the coach and say, "We need a little help."
Well, Marcus Freeman has agreed to a 4-year contract extension with Notre Dame. That'll make him one of the highest-paid coaches in the country. So, congrats to him. Marshall is opting out of the Independence Bowl against Army. The Thundering Herd have lost over 25 players to the transfer portal.
This is one of the pieces of the new world order.
Hey, that's going to start happening.
This is ridiculous.
Don't y'all think? It's crazy, man. But these bowl games, we talked to the guy that run the bowl down here, but there's people that make a living off these bowls and trying to get people here and doing things like that. And then what happens if another team options out? I know Louisiana Tech's taking their place, but if you start getting this over and over and over, it's going to be like a pandemic type of deal.
There's going to be some punishments, you think, to some of these teams that if opting out becomes the norm for some of these teams. Also, former NFL and Virginia Tech quarterback Michael Vick has interviewed for the Norfolk State head coaching job. He said the school reached out to him. He expects a resolution soon. One way or the other, he says, I know how to lead and I know what it takes. So we'll see what happens there.
Interesting.
With Michael Vick. Also, a lot of good college hoop over the weekend. Number 1 Tennessee won at the buzzer at Illinois, 66-64.
Great college game.
Yep.
Great atmosphere.
Great atmosphere. Jordan Gainey had a game-winning layup. Tennessee's first 10-0 start since 2000.
Wow.
And you also had Auburn just walloping Ohio State in Atlanta, and then Kentucky beat Louisville. Alabama beat Creighton. A&M beat Purdue in Indianapolis. The SEC is currently 123-18.
I heard my buddy Dane Bradshaw on a telecast Saturday say that in conference play, a 7-11 SEC could get in. I'll be interested to see if he's right.
I mean, 12 teams. Lenardi has 12 teams in from the SEC right now.
And he's got Vandy right kind of on the bubble of it.
This has to be the best, at least start. We'll see. I mean, they're going to beat each other up, so there probably won't. I don't know that there's 12 teams that make it, but.
Yeah. We done?
Yep.
Okay, after the break, we will state the obvious and then tell you why. So stick around. This is 94.9, The Fan.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Join Tim Thompson and me on Wednesday as the Commodores return to Memorial Gym to take on the Citadel. Pre-game starts at 6:30 with tip-off at 7.
Your sports live here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we're back. Now, imagine this for a minute. As Amy Adams Strunk got on the plane to go back to Houston, whether it was late yesterday or this morning, at some point, some of this stuff had to enter her mind. Why, given that we spent $90 million in free agency, is our team not better than a year ago? And in fact, congratulations, it's worse. Question number two that she might ought to be asking Brian Callahan: why does this team never feel like it's getting any better? Where is any level of positive momentum from all of this? And then the third thing she's got to ask herself is, what's the point? It's time to pull the plug on Will Levis. Kelly, I am now, and I have no info to back this up, but I believe that somebody's head's going to roll at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think you're right, George, and I think your first point was we had over $90 million to spend in salary cap, and why are we not better? So I was thinking the other day, and I meant to ask y'all, do y'all think Mike Vrabel does better with this team, or he would have done better? He would have been in a different situation at this point than the Titans
Yes,
are right now. Would they be more
because
competitive?
well, that's hard to answer because Mike, last year there was a lot of infighting between him and Carthon/Amy.
Right.
So there were certain things that
it got out. Hold on. It got out that he told her Rand Carthon's not ready for this job. And Billy, as you remember, it pissed her off.
Right. But it turns out Vrabel might have been right on that. And so I say if Vrabel was able to do whatever he wanted to do with this team this year, it would be better. But that's what they ran into last year. Vrabel, I mean, they forced his hand on the Levis thing. And so, but like this year, if Vrabel would have played Mason Rudolph most of this season, and they would have probably squeezed out a few more wins, it would have been much better. But that's the whole thing. His hands were tied last year, and, you know, Brian Callahan's hands could be tied right now for all we know as well.
Yeah, and I don't know, George, with your point, you made some very valid points, man. I think you're right. I think she has to be thinking that, because if you look at it, they are not any better. I just in this league, George, you know this, and Billy, everybody that's listening knows this, that it is a QB generated profession now. And if you don't have one under center that can make plays and that can think on his feet and that can make plays when the game is on the line, you don't have anything. And you watch the guy that they were playing yesterday, Joe Burrow, he's unbelievable. He's like a Houdini in the pocket. Like, there's things that he can do. Like, his offensive line is just as bad as the Titans' offensive line, and they have not we sit around, and he's been to a Super Bowl, an AFC Championship game. He's won a lot of games. He's having an MVP-like year. Their defense can't stop traffic, and they're still like in the conversation. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're still hovering around that about being maybe the last one in. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think they've got some more losing to do because defensively they're just not good. They can't stop anybody. But with the things that he does, and that's what I was talking about the other day. When you look at Jaden Daniels, you look at Joe Burrow, you look at guys like that come into the league, and that's what you want. That's what you're hoping you draft in the first or second round, mostly in the first round nowadays. So you're hoping you've got that guy. But, like, is there any semblance of what Will Levis does compared to what Joe Burrow can do? Like, he uplifts his team, he moves around, he makes plays. Now, he had turnovers yesterday, but just like Terry talked about, he comes back from them. He doesn't let that drag him down. Plus, the defense got some turnovers herself on the other side of the ball, and they helped him get some field position. So I don't see that. I told you at the beginning of the year, everybody was all on the Will Levis train, and I'm not saying he can't do it, George. I'm not. But right now, he's not. He's not there. And I talked the other day. I worry about his leadership. That's the thing that I worry about, George. Like, you have to be a leader in the locker room. And I just don't know. That's where everything starts as a quarterback. You've got to kind of feel your way when you're starting out. And sometimes you don't want to step on toes when this is your first time starting the year, but you're either leader or you're not. People either follow you or they don't. And I don't see that, man. And I don't see it getting better.
That's the part that really is concerning to me is I don't see little steps to say, okay, I'm starting to get it. If you do this and you do this, I don't see any of that. This is a dumpster fire. However, we will show you, those of you who are watching, we'll show you one positive play early in the game. It's an interception by Luke Gifford, and there it is. And there's the celebration. Now, let's get to the problems. This is the first pick to Cam Taylor. And Kelly, I'm guessing, Billy, you're going to show me in a minute kind of a slowed down version of this. No,
we're rumbling through them.
Okay, this is number 2, which is not all his fault. It's a deflection that Mike Hilton picks. The third one will
awful.
be an INT to Geno Stone that will get taken the distance. And it was really interesting yesterday to watch the game on TV. Daryl Johnston, Moose, of the great Dallas Cowboy mini dynasty in the 90s, just kept saying, I don't know what he's seeing.
Well, it's a middle of the field's close. It's a middle of field close, which means there's a middle safety, and that right there, there's nobody that's making the safety do anything. He's just backing up, and they're trying to throw a deep over, and the safety never went anywhere. He just stayed right in the middle of the field, and if you're a receiver, you've got to come in front of him, but like, you can tell Will Levis is just he knows exactly where the ball's going. Now, if you're going to do that, now the outside receiver has got to run a post. So if you're up there in the box and you're a coach and you see that, and hopefully you've seen it earlier in the game where, hey, they're trying to rob the deep over right there with the safety. So if the safety does that, watch him and then throw the ball over the top of him. He should have thrown the ball to the go route. Now, the go route didn't win either, but at least he's got a better shot right there. But nobody influenced the safety. And when the safety has nobody influence him and he's not scared because he knows that the guys outside have got their guys, he's just going to read the quarterback. And that's all he did right there. And, you know, it's kind of him kind of staring down his route. The receiver, I've talked about this over and over, but I don't think the route running in the NFL is great anymore. Look at the receiver. Like, I know that the people on radio can't see it, but the receiver starts giving ground when he comes in. Well, I was always taught when I was at middle. I had some really good coaches. But, like, if you're running an in route, you've got to go straight down the line, which is the 5-yard line, the 10-yard line, those lines that go across the field. You got to go straight down the line or slightly below parallel. When you start giving ground, that's a defensive guy's dream that's trailing you because he sees the ball thrown and then he can undercut you. So if the guy comes flat down the line of scrimmage, it's probably going to be a pass interference, but the ball doesn't get picked off. So that's kind of a double deal where Will Levis stared at it and the receiver didn't run a good route. But nobody's taught that anymore, George. So I don't know. Some of the guys. Now, the first interception he had, Akine and the guy that was going over the top for the corner route, they got really close to each other. I don't know what was going on there, but the guy that was guarding Nick Westbrook Akine kind of fluffed off, and that's the deal with that deal. When you've got a smash route, which is a hitch outside, and a corner route by number 2 inside, you have to know if they're playing 2 high safeties. You got to know where that corner is because that corner sometimes will play game with you because he knows that I've got to take the corner route away, but if I can come up and tackle the hitch route if he throws the hitch route, but if I stay on the hitch route a little bit and kind of make him throw that corner route, that's what happened on that play. That's just him seeing that. So you can't throw that. Everything got kind of bunched up right there, and it wasn't a good deal. And then on the interception that you talked got picked, his elbow came down. He threw the ball high. And when you throw the ball high in the middle of the field, good things are not going to happen if your guy does not catch it. I can remember being in Indianapolis, and Lindy and Fonte, we'd always work on a drill where he wanted it from your nose down. Because if it hits you in the chest, where's that ball going? It's going straight to the ground. But when you throw it up to somebody going in the middle of the field and he has to reach for it, he has to go up, somebody's going to hit him because of the speed in the NFL, and more than likely that ball's going to get knocked up in the air. And if that ball gets knocked up in the air, probably going to get picked.
Okay, let me ask some questions here and give me what you think, because this is, everybody's talking about it, but not many people have the luxury of having sat in that hot seat as you did for double-digit years in the NFL. Is Will Levis accurate enough today to be an NFL quarterback? On a starting for a team?
if he reads his, like I said the other day, when you have my strength and weaknesses up there, if he can read his first guy and he throws the first guy and he can set his feet and he throws it, he's accurate. But when he starts milling around in the pocket, like some of those deals, the first interception you had where he took his 5 steps and then he kind of drifted back, that's not good. That's not good footwork right there. He's not accurate when he does that, and you can tell on the tape he's not accurate. Now, when he can step up in the pocket a little bit, yeah, but when you start retreating back, I think his footwork, you still have to work on that the footwork all the time. That's an everyday deal from the quarterback, and no, he's not accurate enough after he goes past his first read because his feet aren't right.
Let's try this one. You've brought up leadership, and I would argue, I wonder how much leadership you can have, number one, when your team's 3-11, and number two, you're fighting for your existence. It's hard to be a leader at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to be a leader, especially when you're so up and down. When you're consistent, like Joe Burrow's doing, when he's consistent, but they're still losing games because of defensively, yeah, you can lead. But like as a leader, you have to be the guy in the clubhouse that is keeping things together and you're making plays. Now you're going to make mistakes. Everybody in the locker room knows, hey, this is a deal about mistakes. We can't make the mistakes, and sometimes we are going to make mistakes, but you can't consistently make them over and over and over and put your team in bad situations, because he had 4 himself yesterday, and I've been in a game where I had 5, George. I had 2 fumbles and 3 picks, and it's not a fun situation because I lost that game all by myself, and my quarterback coach in college used to tell me a quarterback cannot win a game by himself, but you can lose one all by yourself. And yesterday, Will Levis pretty much lost that game by himself.
In the last 3 minutes of the first half. If you bench him now, because Callahan is, I listened to his press conference today. He said, I'm not at a point of making the decision. Now, what do I think it means? If I had to give you my gut feeling, I don't think he's had the conversation with Amy, which ultimately, when the quarterback thing goes down, the owner has to know. But if they make the decision to bench him now, it's over, isn't it?
Yeah. George, if he doesn't play again, yeah, it's over. I mean, I knew you were going to bring this up today, and I was thinking about how hard it is, like in our instant gratification society right now, and it's brought on by all the big money that these guys are making. And he was a second-round pick, but second-round pick guys make money too. You're just trying to get to that second contract after your rookie contract, but you've got to show something, and he has not shown much, George. He really hadn't. Like, he's shown where he can turn even when you're on a bad team, you shouldn't turn the ball over, because turning the ball over on a bad team is going to get you beat even worse. So he just hasn't shown that. And I can remember watching a film one time, George, where Brett Favre, and we all know Brett Favre, he's in the Hall of Fame now, but he threw 7 interceptions in a playoff game against the St. Louis Rams when St. Louis was the greatest show on turf. I watched that film, and he threw 7 of them. But if they would have caught all those, he probably threw 11 that game. You know, so, but he's a Hall of Famer. Everybody knows he's been there. He's done that. Sometimes when you get in that situation like Aaron Rodgers is right now, you've got the you've got the ability, or I forget the word I'm trying to use, but you can get away with that because you've done so much in the league. But Will Levis cannot get away with that. You've got to earn that, and he has not earned that. And I don't know, man. It's a tough situation, George. He did the same thing in college that he's doing now. I've said that from day one, and I'll say it again. Anthony Richardson's the same way. They've all done the same. Like, I don't think. The egos of these coaches think that, hey, the college coaches didn't coach him good enough. We can coach him. We can get him. He's a stud. He can throw it through a wall. He can throw it 90 yards. He can throw it all the way down the field. He's good on touch passes. We can fix him. Well, I don't think you can. What you see is what you get, and that's what's happening right now. And with that being said, Brian Callahan's got that excuse, I didn't draft him. Y'all have thrown him on me, so I didn't draft him. So I don't know where you go from there, but I don't know if people are going to be happy. I hear fire sale. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but it could.
So let me try this one. Around the time of the NFL draft that year, his stock, Will Levis's, appeared to fall, and there was a lot of chatter that in the interviews that he went in saying, I'm big man on campus, look at me, I've got the best arm, I'm this, I'm that. And some of them decided, Now, I don't know that. I just know that his stock fell significantly. Based on what you see now, was it the strutting around saying, I'm big man on campus, or was it film evaluation where they looked deeper and said, I see warning signs?
Well, I think if you're watching it, you see warning signs, just what I've talked about. He wasn't consistent in college. He was hurt in college. I think the people that really understand the game, there's a reason why all of them ran away. Like you thought he went from being like the fifth best quarterback to everybody said he was going to be the first quarterback taken, then he kind of dropped again. So it's that deal, George, that we've talked about when draft comes around, that there's a bunch of lying going on. There's a bunch of, hey, I like him, but in the back room, they're like, I wouldn't take this guy ever. So I just think that he fell. I think he was the next guy up for the Titans. I think that Vrabel thought that, hey, with what he did, probably fit better from what Vrabel did than what Brian Callahan does in throwing the football. I'm not even sure. Like, I don't know if you let Ryan Tannehill go. I was not a huge guy in that. I think the guy's got some experience. And he could have helped a young guy. I mean, I know he was there last year, but I don't know if you let him go this year. Now, obviously, with the money that he had, you had to do something to try to restructure a contract. But, like, I just feel like that the things he did in college, George, he's doing the same thing. And I think that if you understand the game and if you understand the quarterback position, he's not the guy I would have gone after. I would have gone after somebody else.
We'll go to the break on that. And then we'll come back and we'll discuss the Ran Carthon piece in this and the Brian Callahan piece. Because all of a sudden, I think they're both up for discussion. This is 94.9, The Fan. This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Are you concerned about the Medicare Part D changes for 2025? Believe me, you're not alone. You need to contact Pancos Benefits. They'll make the changes clear and easy to understand. Trust Pancos to guide you through it all. Their knowledgeable team is here to help you understand the updates and make informed decisions about your Medicare coverage. Don't navigate these changes alone. Call Pancos Benefits today at 615-292-3400 and choose option 3, or visit pancosbenefits.com. That's 615-292-3400 and choose option 3.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We're back. Would you all like me to sing to that song?
Let's hear it.
Apparently not.
No, we do not.
Thank you,
I do
Kelly.
not.
So let's get to the important questions of the day. Kelly, you say that it's kind of an instant gratification and we're moving quickly and all that.
Yeah.
But the clock is ticking. That Dome Stadium is being built. The Titans are asking absurd money that is a complete ripoff.
The Dome Stadium has made more progress than the Titans this season.
Thank you, Billy. That was well said.
I mean, they're moving.
Billy.
But isn't that a little bit of what she's got to face at the end of the season, where she looks at Rand Carthon and says, you had $90 million of mine to spend to make this better, and not only is it not better, it's worse. And then she turns to Brian Callahan and she says, listening to the people in Nashville, they don't have any confidence in you. They don't believe in you. So I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, what's fair? Kelly, here's what I say is fair. I don't think firing the head coach at the end of the first year is right. But I do think he puts Callahan on notice that, look, Romper Room is over. Yeah. This crap looks like Romper Room, and if mid-season next year it still looks like this, you're out of here. That I do think is fair, is to tell him, look, I don't like anything I see, and I'm putting you on notice that in year 2, if I don't see some very, consistent upswing, you're gone.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. You have to see getting better. You have to see getting better. When you were just asking me that question, I thought about, and I know it's a different time, I get that, but when Jimmy Johnson he left the University of Miami and went to Dallas to be the head coach, I think he won 1 game or 2 games his first year. Is that correct, George?
1. He was 1-15.
Yeah, he was 1-15. So I'm sure people were calling for him to be fired too. So I agree with you. I think you need more time in the National Football League, at any job, than just a year. You can't do it in a year. You can't do what you think has been messed up by the old coaching staff, the organization. You got to have time to fix it, and a year is not enough. I think she will say, yeah, you have got to – I've got to see an upward trend here. We've got to be better than we are, because right now you want to say they're competitive, but then they go down and they play good against Houston. There's no rhyme or reason. I don't understand the league sometimes. If you could bottle it up and sell it, and coaches know that, you can make a lot of money. You don't understand. That's one of their 3 wins, and Houston's one of the, they're not the upper echelon team, but they're kind of in the middle ground, and they're the best team in this division. So you just don't understand it. But yeah, there's going to be some heads turned. There's going to be some things said. I think a coach needs more than 1 year though to try to get his philosophy in. It takes a little time, George, to do that, and it takes time to build. But in today's world, you don't have long. You might have 2 years. If he don't do it by next year, if he gets to stay this year, which I'm certain that he's got to be able to stay, but next year, if she doesn't see improvement, yeah, he's gone next year.
Now, the case for Carthon, to me, is more complicated because this thing is a mess, and it's been a mess now for a while. To me, you needed somebody with a lot more experience of sitting in the hot seat than Rand Carthon. Now, am I just coming to this opinion? I don't know. I'm trying to be fair about it. But the fact of it is, he never sat in the hot seat. John Lynch was the GM in San Fran. And I think there's a hell of a lot of difference between suggesting and taking the you-know-what when it doesn't go right. And right now, this team needs a shrewd general manager, and I'm not convinced Rand Carthon is that.
I don't know how else to answer that, George. I'm with you. I'm not sure. I go back to what Terry said months ago about free agents, and when you got the kid, the Snead kid, who hasn't played much, you pay him all that money. The Cushenberry guy, I think he was an upgrade, but he's been hurt. You look at some of the people that, like DeAndre Hopkins, didn't work out. They ended up letting him go. Tyler Boyd has not been kind of the same deal that he was in Cincinnati. Calvin Ridley's taken some time to get going. I don't know. Sometimes you think about these free agents, and sometimes you hit the A.J. Browns, you hit the Saquon Barkleys, who went to the same place, and it's kind of helping that team become one of the better teams in the league. But a lot of times you get guys that are not as good as they used to be, have lost a step, and you pay them a lot of money, and they just hadn't panned out. And I'm with you, George, too. It's kind of like being a backup quarterback. Everybody loves the backup quarterback till he has to take a snap, and then he gets thrown into the fire, and then he's the one having to answer all the questions and make all the plays. Can he do that? That's the same thing with the GM, and you're right. He never did anything out in San Francisco. He listened. I'm sure he had some input, but there's things sometimes that you hear around the league about certain situations, and I'm not sure. It doesn't look like maybe he was ready. He may be. I don't know. But we'll have to see. Are you going to give him more time? That's on her, not on us. So It's going to be interesting to see what she does. Is she going to give him more time, or is she seeing the writing on the wall and fed up with it and go do something else?
I think Callahan should be promised year 2 up to a point, and the point being you have got to show me real progress. I have got to walk out of this stadium saying to myself, okay, I'm starting to see it. Because let's face it, if she was here yesterday, and I don't know whether she was or not, but she couldn't have felt good about any of this. And some of those people sitting there being asked to fork out $37,000 for the right to be served up this Alpo, and by the way, Billy,
oh my gosh,
Alpo, not sirloin, but Alpo.
I told you not to say that again.
Well,
George,
you've got to learn.
I was talking with a friend, and I told Billy this today. Went to go buy his PSLs. He was going to buy 4, $60,000 a piece.
It's absurd.
And you still got to pay for the tickets, George. How does that work? I don't understand it.
I'll tell you what it is. They want your wallet, and once you give it to them, they say, we have a partnership.
That's right.
Billy,
this is
Alpo.
Ridiculous.
Look it up.
I mean, how much more do we have to talk about the Titans for something to actually change?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
There is no quick fix to this because You know, you've got a GM, you've got a head coach, and you've got a quarterback that nobody knows what the heck's going on with any of them.
Nobody trusts
anybody.
now.
And no one trusts the owner either.
And understand this, guys. Was it 3 years ago or 4 years ago? They were the number 1 seed in the playoffs and lost to the Cincinnati Bengals at home. And how fast it's changed, man. How fast it has changed and gone downhill.
In that game, Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. 9 times.
And still lose.
And as Edward R. Rooney said to Mrs. Bueller, he is leading you down the primrose path. We'll go to the break.
We got some breaking news.
Oh, what have we got?
Sacramento State is in discussions to hire Michael Vick as their new head coach, and they plan to move up to FBS. They're building a new stadium, and they have over $50 million in NIL. Sacramento State plucks Vick away from Norfolk State.
Maybe. We'll go to the break. Stat of the day, we always aim to get off to a good start. Do we? Not very often. This is 94.9, The Fan.
Where can you see a saber-toothed tiger rappel from the rafters? How about a catfish fly? The biggest stars in Music City. Not to mention hockey's hottest ticket. The Predators win! Only in Smashville. See your Nashville Predators all season long at Bridgestone Arena. Single game tickets are on sale now at NashvillePredators.com. Let's go, Preds!
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Come out unscathed, untouched, while being unarmed in an encounter with a grizzly bear. Nathan in Louisiana, listening on 103.7 The Game. What's up, Nathan?
I'd say Ndamukong Suh.
That's another good one. That is another good one. Ndamukong Suh. And you know he's going to fight dirty with the bear, right?
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Being able to focus is a part of the entertainment value. If it's a good movie, I want to lock in on it. I can't do that with you talking to me. It's why I don't invite people over to watch the Super Bowl or to watch the NBA Finals. It's because I can't focus on the damn game while they're doing all that yapping. Exactly. I can't do it. And I don't think you should hold that against me because I can't get on your level with that.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Chris Carlin, Joe Fortenbaugh. This is Carlin versus Joe.
Are the Chiefs impervious to math? Because you keep telling me about regression to the mean, and then you lay out 10-0 in one-score games. Like, I know what I'm watching, and I have a pretty good idea of what this is, and yet the math ain't mathin'.
Carlin versus Joe. Weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
What is all the crying, whining, and complaining about from Alabama fans? Alabama is the only team in college football to have 3 losses while ranked in the top 10. That's why I keep telling you guys, they didn't get the shaft. They got exactly what they deserve, Paul.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
All right, we're talking a little college football coming up, but first stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, or Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, I've seen the question, and this might be the hardest stat of the day we have ever had.
Ever?
I mean, it's the Titans and the Bengals had 10 combined turnovers. The most in a game since 2007. Which two teams were in that game?
Really?
What?
This
combined turnovers.
I think the number
was it somebody that I played for, Billy?
Okay, they mentioned it 3 times on the broadcast.
They did, but I reached a point where I was flipping to other.
No, you were flipping to other games?
Yes, I was.
How dare you?
I was. Just go ahead and show us.
Nice effort.
Yeah, it really was.
The Lions and the Vikings.
Okay, well, that's wonderful.
So
back in 2007.
It was one of my teams, and I was with the Minnesota Vikings in 2007.
For
you were
how
on
long?
that team, Kelly?
For how long?
I was.
In that game or no?
A year. You know what? It's possible. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I think you would remember it.
Man, I don't remember. I really don't, because there's Adrian
and Calvin.
I don't know, man, I don't remember if I was on that team. I was on that team. I don't remember that game. I really don't. Bad.
That is bad. Okay, are we now officially into the 4 o'clock hour?
Yep.
Welcome into the 4 o'clock hour from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue, our digs out here. And now we'll shift gears to some college football. We will open up the phone lines around 4:20 to get into wherever you want to take it. I'm dying to hear from some of you. Okay, weather forecasts for this weekend. And Billy, while I'm doing those, I want you to look up Columbus, Ohio. At Notre Dame, which I don't think will be a huge factor, snow showers on Friday night, upper 20s. I would think both Indiana and Notre Dame are used to that kind of thing. After all, they're in the same state. The same cannot be said for Penn State and SMU, where Saturday during the day, they are expecting temperatures of right around 30 degrees and winds gusting to 25 miles per hour. What do I think? Advantage Penn State. They're used to it. SMU is not. They wear cowboy hats.
Temperatures are nearly steady in the mid-30s in South Bend. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. So
I just said that. I asked you to look up Columbus.
Oh, okay. This is actually Columbus. My bad. Columbus in the 30s as well.
You seem confused.
I said South Bend instead of Columbus. You gonna C-note me?
That's not hard, George. It's not hard to get William confused.
Okay, are we with the playoff coming?
Oh, and Kelly, you weren't on that Vikings team yet. Tavares Jackson was the quarterback and threw 4 interceptions in that game.
I was there. I was on that team. That's my last year, dog.
Yeah, but you weren't on the team yet. In that game, you were not on the team yet.
Yes, I was.
Well, now, hold on a second, Billy. Don't you think he would know where he was?
My last
No.
year was 2007. I got traded during training camp. I spent the whole year in
Yeah, but you
Minnesota.
were signed in September to the Vikings.
What are we saying, Billy?
Yeah, what are we saying?
I'm getting this from Ty. Ty's saying that you weren't signed yet.
I was on that team. Tavares was in front of me, and then I played for Tavares.
Tell Ty to come out here and duke it out with Kelly.
The game was in September.
And I was there.
Ty's saying you weren't signed yet.
Yes, I was. I got signed in August or July. Excuse me. No, it was August.
Okay, well, I'll look back into that.
Either way, this is riveting.
I lived it, Billy. Billy, I lived it. I know. I was there. I got my luggage lost on the plane, Hoss.
What I remember is you didn't like your head coach.
You said that on there. I did, but you're 100% correct.
There's been an athletic director or two I've had an issue with. That's okay. Okay, let's get down to this playoff. We all agree, I think, that the atmospheres at these 4 games are going to blow people's minds. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see the atmosphere. I just wonder, like what I said about those 40-something kids that have gone into the transfer portal, and I don't know where all they're from. I couldn't tell you, but like, could that be something huge that comes up in a game where a guy that's starting goes down and the backup opted out? Now the third team guy's got to go in, and he's just not ready. Now I know they're trying to get him ready this week, but that's huge, George. That could be especially if the Penn State quarterback goes down, like Drew Allers goes down, and Billy just talked about that kid's going somewhere else, but he's going to be on the team. Like if I'm or James Franklin, I'm saying no. If you're in the transfer portal, you're not on the team anymore. I couldn't do it.
Well, if that's how it went down and Franklin told him to get out of here, that's stupid. If Aller goes down in the first quarter, you got to throw a backup quarterback out there in a playoff game?
But that's what I'm saying, Billy. If the guy behind my starter says that he's going to the transfer portal, but he wants to stay on, I'm gonna say beat it. He's out, dude. He's out for me. He's gone.
Well,
I'm not.
Then you're gonna
me, Billy.
But you're gonna catch some heat, though.
Hey, I'm an old school guy. You're a new school guy, man. That's just how I think. And so be it. If it comes down to that and I get beat, fire me. I'm going to ride off into the sunset with my $20 million. Holler.
You're either with us or you're not. Now, what is it?
Well, it's going to be really funny because SMU's backup is in the portal, but he's staying. So it's going to be interesting. This could play. This could come into effect.
I'll admit, I'm with Kelly. Gone.
But
you don't think we're good enough to stay? Get the hell out.
Yeah, beat it. Don't let the door hit your rear
I'm just saying, if Aller goes down, you're turning to your third string quarterback in a playoff
but
game.
the dude didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. He wants to go get him some money and go somewhere else. Okay, have at it. You don't have to stay. Bye-bye. See ya.
Now, let's get to the actual games. Would I be right in thinking that going into the Notre Dame-Indiana game, first of all, the public is a little bit skeptical of Indiana, whether that's fair or unfair. Their one big test, they kind of pooped the bed when they went to Ohio State and got mashed. Isn't it more vital for Indiana to get off to the good start in this game to erase any thoughts of, here goes Ohio State again?
I'm not sure. They're in the dance. I think it's a 4-quarter game. That's so cliche-ish. I get it, but you want to start off good. A coach wants to start off good, but even if you don't start off good, that don't mean you can't come back and win this thing. Because Notre Dame's played good ever since they got beat by Northern Illinois, Billy? Yeah, ever since they got beat by Northern Illinois, they've played good football, and it's at their place. That place is going to be crazy. I think they're kind of evenly matched. So I don't know if they have to get off to a good start, but you can't go a couple of quarters not starting well. And I just don't know if that. I think everybody's excited to be in the 12-team deal. Some teams are going to start off good, some teams aren't. But the teams that are going to be the ones at the end are going to be able to fight through some adversity, George. And I think the Indiana kids that Coach Signetti has brought with him, told that they couldn't play big-time college football, and a lot of them are there. And I think they want to prove something. And I think those guys are like the Julian Edelmans of the world. They've been told that they can't, but they can, and I don't think it matters if they start. They'd like to start fast, but I don't think that matters.
And now our Catholicism moment with Billy.
Well, hear me out on this. Is there a coaching edge in this game to Curt Signetti? And maybe even a coach and quarterback edge? I mean, who do you trust more, Signetti and Curtis Rourke or Marcus Freeman and Riley Leonard? The more I think about this, Indiana's going to be prepared. Notre Dame has the better roster, but if Notre Dame lacks any effort, focus, Indiana can make some plays here. I think Curt Signetti, there could be a potential coaching edge in this game to watch out for.
All I know is this. Signetti sat down and said, hey, Google me. I win wherever I go. So there you go, baby.
He pulled
Google it.
He pulled a Buddy Ryan. There's a winner in town, and you're looking at him.
And you're looking at him.
By the way, the winner in town right now is Kelly, who is on fire with underdog picks. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's pure luck because Kelly lost about 15 games straight.
Billy.
And now he's won about, 4 out of the last 5.
What are you babbling?
How does this happen to where Kelly loses 15 in a row?
He got
and then
hot.
He strings off 5 in a row out of nowhere.
Why don't you string 2 in a row before you ask that?
This is not about me.
No, it is about you.
I want to know what changed in Kelly's thinking for. I mean,
started winning. I got on a streak, man. Chris Sanders lost like 12 straight games, and then he hit 2 big ones, and he got close to me when I won it one year. He came up second.
Hold on. I think I know what Billy's trying to get at. Are you saying that Kelly is receiving illegal aid?
I think there needs to be an investigation of some sorts into this.
Who do you? Okay. Hold on a second.
I'm looking at you right now,
Kelly
Billy,
went
eye to eye, and there's no help. It's from your boy here, right here. It's from me.
I'm gonna start contacting some people and digging into this a little bit further.
Do you think it is the wife?
I think there's some outside influence involved here.
You think he's turned to Boots for help?
No, I don't. Somebody. We'll figure it out.
Yes, I don't care who you pick. I'm not getting in your reindeer game, son. Matter of fact, you're wasting my time on the telephone. Bye.
Billy, these are serious accusations that you are hurling at Kelly. And all I would say is before you cast that stone, try to win 2 in a row. Until then, enjoy being in last place.
Hater.
You lost as well, George.
What was it I said to him on Saturday night? Go to bed.
Go to bed, Billy. That was the greatest line ever, too.
That
Billy,
was
just
a great
go to
line.
bed. Every time
was
you
a great
speak,
line.
you're getting yourself into deeper water. Go to bed.
No.
Does anybody believe that SMU physically can go toe-to-toe with Penn State?
No.
Keep going.
I just
Why do you
I don't
believe
think
that?
they can. Well, I will say this. In the game last week against Clemson, their defensive line, their defensive front kind of showed me something. They were able to get after the Klubnik kid, and they were able to hold up a little bit there. I think this is a different Penn State team. Drew Allers, I've never been really overly impressed with him, but he's played better this year. Still can't beat Ohio State, but I think it's going to be a different deal, and I think the weather is going to be a factor in that game because these guys are from Dallas. Now, I will say this: the quarterback for SMU, I can't remember his name. What's his name, Billy?
Kevin Jennings.
Yeah, the Jennings kid. Like he's a player, man. He's not very big. He's kind of Bryce Young size, but he can move around. He can make throws, and The coach talked about how when he's down, that's when he plays his best, and the other day it showed up. So I don't think you can count them out. I just don't know if they can match up physically with Penn State, but they could.
Do you all think Clemson gets blown out at Texas?
I don't think so.
I don't think they will. I think Texas can cover in that game. I mean, Clemson, talent-wise, is nowhere near Texas. But, I mean, depends on what you mean by blowout. Is that, 17, 21?
Okay, 10-7 is not a blowout.
What do you mean?
Well, okay, is there a chance?
If you're talking 3 scores, then yes.
Could Texas blow out? Could this be the one non-competitive game? If there's a non-competitive game, is this it?
Yes. But
see, I don't think it will be. I think that Clemson has been there. Obviously, they hadn't been there with this group, but they've been there. And I don't think they're great, obviously, with their record. But they've been in situations like this, and I don't think they'll get blown out. I don't know if they can win because I really believe Texas, and defensively, Texas is pretty good now. Offensively, sometimes they struggle. I think Quinn Ewers, he struggles moving around some. He's got that ankle injury. And sometimes he makes bonehead decisions, but I don't think it'll be a blowout.
By the way, Billy, for the record, the number 37-7 is a blowout.
Okay.
Clemson 37, Notre Dame 7.
In a recent
Notre
playoff.
Dame into that. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to see how that would work. Okay. Give me your all's vision of Tennessee, Ohio State, and then we will go to the break and get into the phone calls and the text messages. Kelly.
I've said it over and over again. Tennessee has stuff that travels. They've got a running game, and they've got a defense that can do some things. I think Ohio State is kind of in shock from where they came from and not making the Big Ten championship and losing to Michigan, their fierce rival. They may still have a hangover from that game. Ryan Day is not on the, he's on the hot seat. I don't think he should be on the hot seat, but we've talked about it before. The negativity that is in Buckeye Nation right now with Ryan Day is at an all-time high, and I think if Tennessee could do a few things early and get some momentum and get some confidence, and then I think things are going to pucker up for the old Buckeye, and I think they could be in trouble. And Dylan Sampson is going to be huge in that game. I think that Nico has to play well. He can't turn the ball over. He's got to play well, and he's got to make some third downs, and they've got to be able to run the football. If they can't run the football and they put everything on Nico, that's not a good recipe for Tennessee. I think that's where Ohio State wins the game. But if they can make some plays to begin the game and get Ohio State thinking, they might be in it.
I don't know that Josh Heupel has been able to take his team into a night road hostile environment and win, if you really think back at the last few years. Now, they've won big games at home, but in this spot, you're going up to Columbus, Ohio, and I know their fans might be a little down, and I know there's going to be a lot of orange there as well, but you're bringing a quarterback from Southern California up there, as a 2-year guy. I mean, his first year starting. I trust Ohio State a little bit more. I don't trust either of these teams, really, but I trust Ohio State more at home to bounce back and knock Tennessee out. But
okay,
I think Tennessee can certainly cover. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch.
Let me play devil's advocate on what you threw out there. No, they didn't win, but did they not play pretty well at Georgia?
I mean, they lost by 2 scores. I know it was a late score there at the end. They just don't operate well on the road. I mean, they didn't win. I mean, if we're asking Tennessee,
how many teams do win at Georgia?
Yeah, but they went and lost at Arkansas too. I mean,
agree,
which was embarrassing. So,
which is the game that ultimately decided that they would be on the road.
Yeah, and other road games. Tennessee's schedule, guys. I mean, there was very little resistance in Tennessee's schedule this year, and this is probably right behind Georgia is probably the toughest road game they've had to play this year. So I'm wondering how they respond to it. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch, but I do think Ohio State probably wins.
Okay, let's do this. On two fronts, I'm looking for some involvement. Get y'all in the middle of this. Phone numbers, 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. I am looking for red-blooded Americans who have strong opinions, especially if it involves the Titans in the first hour of what we talked about. But doesn't matter. As long as it's sports, I want to hear from you. Billy, if a person wants to get involved by way of text line, how do they do that?
That's to the right of the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, on a laptop, also on your phone, Twitter and Facebook, you can just swipe up and type your question in that way. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, it's that simple. Hit the phones, jump on the text line. This is 94.9, The Fan.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Are you concerned about the Medicare Part D changes for 2025? Believe me, you're not alone. You need to contact Pancos Benefits. They'll make the changes clear and easy to understand. Trust Pancos to guide you through it all. Their knowledgeable team is here to help you understand the updates and make informed decisions about your Medicare coverage. Don't navigate these changes alone. Call Pancos Benefits today at 615-292-3400 and choose option 3, or visit pancosbenefits.com. That's 615-292-3400 and choose option 3.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company. 676345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Hey, this is Kevin Ingram. Join Tim Thompson and me on Wednesday as the Commodores return to Memorial Gym to take on the Citadel. Pre-game starts at 6:30 with tip-off at 7.
Your sports live here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back. We're going to open it up for your reaction, your ability to kind of bat it all back and forth the way we have done over the last hour. If you are new to the show, dial us up. I want to hear from you. 615-553-0933. Billy, do you have anything that you want to throw out there before I go to the phones?
Well, Justin earlier on the Titans, he says Kelly's 100% right. Stop drafting on potential. See good player, draft good player. Levis and Richardson have never produced. Saying Levis and Richardson at the Colts.
That's what everybody does, guys. I mean, it's draft on potential, and I had one of my friends mean potential means you're not very good right now, but all these coaches think that this is the new wave. I know for a fact that I had a friend that was one of my coaches that called up there, and he said Anthony Richardson is the way of the future. This is the new quarterback of the future. But here's the deal, guys. In the NFL, those guys on the other side of the ball are paid, trained killers. And I'm saying that in a light mode, but those guys are paid to do that. And if you keep taking the hits, I don't care if Anthony Richardson is a stud, Will Levis is a stud, it's going to catch up to you at some point. It catches up to everybody, and you cannot play professional quarterback like that. You have to learn. Lamar Jackson's a perfect example. He's a freakish athlete, but he's learned how to throw the ball from the pocket. He can throw the ball now. He's worked his tail off to be able to do that because he said, hey, I can still run, but why do I need to take all those hits? I can throw the ball and do the same thing. Now, if I have to run, I can run, and he's very good at it. And they call runs for him, but he protects himself. You understand, because he's a gifted athlete. But I what they do now is what they did in college, and I don't see how you fix it.
Our first phone call is Jack, who is on line one. Jack, welcome into 94.9 The Fan.
Hey, George. Hope you're having a nice holiday and getting ready for it.
Yes, and same to you and your family.
Yeah. Hey, I want to weigh in on the deal with the quarterback for the Titans. I think people are crazy. I think talk show people are crazy. I think fans are crazy. And I just about think that the damn management of the team is crazy. The guy's got a great arm. He makes mistakes. So did Jordan Love. He had a great arm, and he probably made a bunch of mistakes. And the Packers kept the guy for 3 years, and taught him how to play quarterback. Same thing happened with Aaron Rodgers. He sat on the damn bench for 3 years. And he's probably more talented and a better arm than Will Levis, but hell, he ain't that much better. Levis can throw it on a rope and put it any way he wants to. He just doesn't make good decisions. If we don't get a seasoned quarterback that we can let play for 2 years and let him learn how to play that game and learn how to do it rather than giving up on it, we're being the stupidest bunch of people in God's name. There ain't a better quarterback that's going to be available to draft wherever they draft. Still going to have the same problem if you throw him in there and expect him to play NFL quarterback without training and opportunity to learn how to do it. So take the guy, get Tannehill back, get somebody that knows how to play that game and play that spot and teach him how to do it and build a team around him in 3 years. Look, you got Jordan Love, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got how many people can you name that weren't great when they were young rookies and they almost got run out of the league? The guy's playing for Seattle. Hell, he couldn't make it at the Jets. Donaldson or Donald or whatever his name is, the guy down in Tampa. All those guys had bad years and people gave up on them, and now look what they're doing. Give them a break.
Okay. Let's, Kelly, you're the former quarterback. That's how McNair got brought up, where he really did not play for 2 years. Is that what the league is missing right now?
I kind of agree with Jack a little bit. I've said it before. In this generation, with all the money, they want it now. And Bryce Young came in, and he didn't play very good last year, and he started out the year bad this year, and then he's gotten a little bit better. He got to sit over there and look a little bit. So I think that the way that the money is structured, I just don't think we're going back to that. Everybody wants it now, and they want – Jack is right. But with that being said, I just don't see it from Will Levis. I mean, I get that, but I don't. I just don't see that. I've never saw that. I watched him in college. I didn't agree with the draft when they drafted him. I didn't agree with that. But at some point, you've got to do what Jack said, because sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer, and if you can ride it out. But everybody nowadays wants to win. Fans want to win. The organization wants to win, and they're not patient with that. And if you're going to do that, you've got to get somebody in there like a Ryan Tannehill, or like somebody that you can bring in that knows, hey, I'm on the last leg of my deal here. If I can play for a couple of years, maybe I can teach this young guy how to play. That's kind of how you have to do it. And then if he gets in there and you think that you got something, when he makes mistakes, you got to live with the mistakes. But I think right now Will Levis is making a little bit too many, and I don't see it, but I do agree with Jack, because nobody wants to give anybody any more time to like develop. It's creeping its way up, George, into the pros from college, because all these people want these athletes that run around, and they're not teaching them how to play the game, and they're not teaching them like Tom Moore used to teach me, 1, 2, 3, and throw it in the stands. They're not teaching that. They don't know how to read a coverage. They're telling these guys, hey, if this guy's not open, well, why is this guy not open? Well, because the linebacker dropped in. Well, if the linebacker dropped in, throw it to the back that's sitting where the linebacker was supposed to be. They don't do that. They just tell them, hey, if nothing's there, just take off running. That's what these defensive head coaches want. Just be an athlete, take off running. Well, that's not how you play the position of quarterback.
The one thing I'll say, Sam Darnold, Peyton Manning, and Jordan Love, a few guys that Jack brought up, were all first-round picks. And especially Darnold, he was third overall. Peyton Manning was first overall. Love a little bit later. But did we see anything in Will Levis at Kentucky that told us he could lead an NFL franchise? I think that's the difference with Levis. Like with Darnold at USC, Manning, Love, maybe, that was a lot of potential there, but
because of injury, we saw more of it as a junior than as a senior.
Right, but to me, this is who Will Levis is. This is who he's always been. Yes. And maybe he can improve, but there's a ceiling on this kid, and it's a different level ceiling than a Bryce Young type. His talent ceiling is lower. So he can be serviceable. I think he could be a really good backup. I don't see him as a starter in the NFL.
Let's go to Clay in Nashville. Clay, welcome in.
How we doing, players?
We're good. Hope you are.
I have a special greeting for Kelly today. Kelly, how we doing, Hoss?
I'm good, big dog. What's up, Hoss? How you doing?
Y'all talked a little bit about this earlier. As far as these playoff games this weekend, I think maybe SMU might have something for Penn State. I don't know. I don't think Indiana's going to have anything for Notre Dame. And I believe, George, the other day, Dabo Sweeney's team, you pronounced that as Clemson, right?
Clemson. Clumpson. That's how they say it now. Clemson.
Clemson. Anyway, I'm not sure about that one, but I think the Tennessee-Ohio State game, if you just look at it, that's the best matchup, just on paper. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think if all this is true about how angry the Ohio State fans are about this Michigan thing, it's going to, if Tennessee gets off to a good start, then it's going to be maybe get a little testy up there. But is this correct? I heard this earlier today. Is Ryan Day 66-10 at Ohio State?
Somewhere around there.
Something like that, yeah.
He's only lost 5 games in the Big Ten, and 4 of them have been to Michigan.
I mean, that's like an 88% winning percentage, and you're talking about,
But you can't win the big one.
I mean, that's amazing.
If you remember, the precedent on all this was John Cooper, who had a really good record at Ohio State, but went 1-7-1 against Michigan, and they showed him the door.
I was listening to switching gears. I was listening to the call-in after the Titans game yesterday. And Kevin Dyson is on there, who will forever be a hero in Titans lore with the Music Miracle. But he said the deal with Lewis is, and I listen to what a former player says, just like I would listen to something Kelly says. I mean, because they played the game at the highest level. He said that Willis's biggest problem is post-snap, meaning I guess he's saying right after the ball is snapped, that he just can't read defenses.
That's correct. That's what I said the other day when I brought up my strengths and weaknesses. When he knows where the ball is going, he goes back, he gets to his drop, whether it's a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop, he hitches or he throws it off the plant, and he knows where he's going. He's good with it. But when you make him sit there and read something, he struggles.
So is that a scenario that you blame on Kentucky's coaching staff? I mean, where do you put that?
I don't know, George. That might just be who he is. I don't know. I don't know if guys. I don't know what guys are getting taught anymore. I used to, at middle, we used to run the curl, flat with a back right there, and we would have a DB, a safety, a linebacker, and another linebacker, and then you would just tell them to go different places, and then you would read stuff like that. So if he takes the flat, then I throw the curl. If the backer goes under the curl, then I throw it to the back. So it's things like that you have. So I don't know how the practice schedule went. I don't know. You would think in big-time college football that you would have quarterback coaches and you would have offensive coordinators to teach people that, and I'm sure they did. I don't know that. But sometimes guys just don't understand it. They don't get it. They see it when it's up on a board, but when you get out there on the field and you're actually going through it, it becomes messed up in their mind, and they do things that you don't coach to do.
Y'all have been a little tough on Billy with his picks and him being in last place. I guess, if he's picked about as well as my book it on the Vandy, South Carolina game, George, I've officially retired from the book it business after that wonderful pick. So
yeah, I think several of us should.
Yeah, lay off.
I think the problem with Billy, he has no credibility in that competition. Not only is he dead last,
this is my
he's
first
last
year
by 20 points.
This is my first year. I came in mid-season.
That has
for Poggy.
nothing to do with it.
We all have a first year.
Y'all
Billy.
been doing this for 20
Poggy's
years.
Points too. You've still got Poggy's points too. Take them off, and you'd be way in third place, Hoss.
I'm with Clay. Lay off.
Yeah, whatever. Do you have another text for us before we go to the break?
I do. It's from Ty. With their final 3 games being against the Colts, Jags, and Texans, do you all see the Titans going 0-3 to end the season?
Not necessarily. For instance, in the Texans game,
because they're playing the seller of the AFC South.
It could be that, for instance, with the Texans, they got nothing to play for. They've clinched the division. Right. By that point, they may be in a position to say, look, nothing's going to change, so we're going to rest the big people, the C.J. Strouds, that
Nico
kind of thing.
Collins.
Yeah. And let's face it,
man,
the
that
other
Jag
two
Titans game.
Yeah, the other two aren't God's gift to football.
No, not at all.
So I'll go with not necessarily. How about
also, another piece of breaking news.
What do we got?
Florida State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei has declared for the NFL draft.
Good.
And somebody on Twitter said, you misspelled Canadian League.
Wow. Wow.
You know what, though? Here's the deal. Like, somebody will pick him up.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if they'll draft him. I don't know if he'll have to go as an undrafted free agent, but somebody will pick him up.
Because there is big-time size.
It'll be the Titans, probably.
Wow, Billy.
Let's move to the break on that. At 4:38, this is 94.9, The Fan.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We have two calls on the line. I would like for a third one, a new caller to jump in that maybe is new to the show. 615-553-0933. Eric, you're the leadoff hitter. Go.
Hey, George, before I get to Titans, one quick thing I want to say. And you may have talked about this. I don't know. I've been in and out of the room, but my thoughts and prayer go out to Randy Moss because I heard that he
yes.
It's like lymph nodes removed for cancer and stuff.
Yeah.
But hear what he's going through, and just hopefully he'll get well and get better soon.
Amen. Absolutely.
Hey, as far as the Titans, a few things, observation on the game. One thing Jack would talk about. Unfortunately, one thing that doesn't help Will Levis's case is how well Jaden Daniels has played this year and C.J. Stroud played last year when you have rookies coming out and playing that well off the bat. I guess they expect every rookie to do that, but that's, of course, not going to happen. But those two cases certainly doesn't help his case. Also, and I'm sure you heard about this, one of the dumbest things that happened in yesterday's game was, I guess, when that Cincinnati Bengals lineman caught that touchdown pass, Sam Herbert where he tore his PCL. But then the thing is, I heard he was hurt before he did that. And it's like, what are we doing putting the guy that's already hurt out there trying to catch a touchdown pass? And he tears his PCL and tries to do that. It's one of the dumbest things that you could do. I know it's a gadget play and you want to get the guy a touchdown, but there's just no reason if he's hurt to put him out there and then further injure himself. That was just dumb.
Well, what about the defensive back who drops the ball on the 1 yard line? I will say this. If I were a coach and I had a player do that, his ass would be in the locker room 10 seconds later. I wouldn't put up with that.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm sorry.
There's later on against the Denver Broncos. Isn't that wild? We had two plays like that happen on the same day.
Kelly,
but as far as the game goes yesterday,
sorry about that. We can't have that, Kelly. It's just No.
I agree, but hey, they're players, and when it boils down to it, we're human beings, and we're all ignorant at times, and we want to be funny, and we want to celebrate. Make sure you get into the end zone. Make sure if you're a coach, tell them, get in the end zone. Let's don't be Leon Lett and drop the ball before the end zone, please.
Be funny 5 yards into the end zone.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, from what I understand, actually, he wasn't trying to celebrate. What happened was he was trying to change the ball in his hands before he crossed the goal line, and that's how he fumbled it. Now, Jonathan Taylor, I think, was trying to celebrate whatever, but he just dropped the ball. Thought he had already scored a touchdown, but he hadn't. But anyway, if you had told me that the Titans, and somebody mentioned yesterday after the game, the Bengals would have 14 penalties for 113 yards and 4 turnovers, you think like the chances. But the thing was, both teams had 26 penalties accepted, over 200 yards, and I think they said the last time they had was 2,000. 10 turnovers, 6 by the Titans, 4 by Levis, the 3 interception fumble, which told him giving up 24 points. I mean, it's just, you just don't expect that. And the thing is now also, I'm to the point where it wouldn't surprise me either way. It wouldn't surprise me if Callahan starts Rudolph, but also it wouldn't surprise me. Somebody made the point, you just start Levis and let him ride it out, because the Titans now have nothing to play for anyway, and they just may let him play it out. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. And I've tried to defend him, but after just yesterday, it's just you can't, because the last pass he threw it like in the triple coverage. It was just ridiculous. And so, but it is what it is. Guys, I'll get off. Let's get some other callers. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
By the way, there were a couple of pass interferences in that game in the first half. One that benefited the Titans and one that did not, where it appeared to me that a defender breathed on a receiver.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God.
I'm so sick of that. And that's this where it goes at the spot of the foul is getting out. Like, I had a coach tell me, just throw it up. We're probably more than likely either going to catch it, or he's not going to let them catch it, or we're going to get a pass interference call. And none of that happened. And I'm like, well, we keep saying that, but it's not happening. But now it happens every play. And I don't know if you need to keep the spot of the foul or go back to 15 yards like
15
they do in
yards. And I'll bet most people, I bet if you did a poll of NFL fans, 15 yards would win out huge. Tony in Nolensville, you are next.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon.
Howdy.
And I'll get right to it. There's a couple of things. I'm excited about the bowl games coming up. We're starting into the bowl season. I'm excited about the Music City Bowl. I wasn't originally, but I think it's going to turn out to be a good bowl game. I don't like the time slot, 1:30 in the afternoon, and it's the only bowl game all day on that day, that Monday. And it's probably because they didn't want to put it on a late time against the NFL. But I am excited about the bowl game, and, of course, excited about the Vandy going down there to play Georgia Tech in the Brainiac Bowl. I think that's going to be a fun bowl game, too. But looking forward to that. Guys,
so hold on, Tony. I got to ask something. This is for Kelly's benefit. So Vandy and Georgia Tech people are smart people.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, that's all I need.
George, they can't be that smart in the organization. They hired you at one point.
Both did.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Me and West Durham.
I heard West do the game the other night with.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Alabama and somebody.
Yeah, South Alabama and Western Michigan. Western Michigan looked like a bunch of bumblebees. They were in yellow on yellow.
I want to turn this table right now. We've got a lot of great sports going on in this town right now. You've got Vanderbilt men and women's basketballs made tremendous turnarounds. On the women's basketball, you've got a girl put up 42 points the other night. At UT, they put up 33s. Unbelievable story there. 33s the other day. We've got basketball. We've got the college hoops. All it taken off. The bowl, the playoffs. George and Kelly, I implore, George, remember using that a lot.
Implore. Let me write that down. Implore.
Let's get the Titans talk to Reaction Monday, because these guys, they're done. They're like burnt toast at a family Sunday morning breakfast. They're like burnt popcorn at the movie theater.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Tony. I got to tell you about the burnt popcorn. You know, if you have a microwave, it's like you hit the popcorn button 1 minute and 50 seconds. Well, I didn't do that. I don't know what I thought. I'm thinking I was putting one of those TV dinners in. So I put the popcorn in for 4 minutes. And it didn't work out real well. And I kept looking for the damn emergency pizza. I thought, surely that woman that pops out of that tree will give me a pizza. I didn't get squat.
Come on, George.
Sorry.
So I implore. We've still got the Predators to fix. So the Titans are done. There's not enough of gutter seal to fix all the holes in the Titans. So, I tell you what, if we could cover these other sports and be glad when this Titans crap is over with, because they suck. We all know it. It's an ugly picture, and we're all so ready to move on. I know it probably breaks Eric's little feelings and hurts his heart, but it's time to move on.
Well, it sounds like Eric went to the game. Tony, it sounds like Eric went to the game, which separates him from the 30,000 empty.
And he won't admit it, but I believe he does.
Hey, thank you for the call.
And he probably got Kenny the mailman to take him, and they probably sat there together and shared a box of burnt popcorn.
Oh, Lord. That's bad.
I'll see you later, guys.
Talk to you. So there were some empty seats yesterday.
Yeah, some.
Looked like some sections.
There probably wasn't as many as the Jaguars game, though, right?
No, because there were more Bengals fans that showed up.
Yeah.
But Brent on YouTube, the general manager must get better as well. He is on the clock.
So here's the thing. He has drafted better than John Robinson, but that doesn't say much. I mean, if you were asking me to try to be fair about Rand Carthon's drafts, C+, C.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been awful, but
they
the free agent signings. I mean, that's the bigger for Awuzie. Ridley's been okay, but for those defensive players to just be complete non-factors. I mean, Snead and Awuzie, we talked about them. We talked all about this defense being potentially one of the top defenses in the league. But those free agent signings defensively, they had an offensive lineman. Who was the offensive lineman that quit football and ended up looking into a music career?
Before the season started.
Those free agent signings have not really panned out as a whole.
Now, they haven't gotten real lucky. Cushenberry got hurt. Snead's been hurt. That they have not been helped in that area. Pollard is really right now about all they've got to show for it. DeAndre Hopkins, meanwhile, is helping the Chiefs huge. And Ernest Jones in Seattle,
he was
helping the Seahawks huge.
Yep.
Huge.
So what are we, the clearinghouse to send people all the help they need?
That's been the case for the last decade. I mean,
so John Robinson, Rand Carthon, which one?
Well, look, right now it has to be Carthon is better because Robinson ran into about a 2.5 year stretch where he didn't get much right.
Yeah.
I mean, without being ugly about it, he didn't get much right. And, I have no doubt that there was a lot of friction that started to build up. The A.J. Brown trade made it all look worse. Yeah. And, from that point forward.
That was the beginning of the end.
Titan happy talk is over.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, did I go over this weekend?
No, I think you got one.
Okay, well, 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 ain't all bad. We'll come back. We will review, and then, Kelly, we have stuff for tonight. Stay tuned. This is 94.9, The Fan.
Where can you see a saber-toothed tiger rappel from the rafters? How about a catfish fly? The biggest stars in Music City. Not to mention hockey's hottest ticket. The Predators win! Only in Smashville. See your Nashville Predators all season long at Bridgestone Arena. Single game tickets are on sale now at NashvillePredators.com. Let's go, Preds!
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Final segment on a Reaction Monday night football doubleheader tonight. We'll see where George is going, but first time for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Take a look at what happened over the weekend. Neither of the two team teasers worked, but you got the Arizona Cardinals -6.
So, Kelly, we're 10 games over 500. Yeah. And I think that deserves, because I've caught it from a couple of people who've given me well, you're at 500. No, I'm not. I'm 10 games over 500. That's pretty significant.
It's not bad. I'll be honest with you. That's not a bad deal when you're doing what you're doing, because it's tough.
Okay.
It's tough what you're doing, George.
Here's what we got tonight. We got 2 games that I think simply you tease them down. Minnesota at home, -1 against the Bears. And who knows about Atlanta? It's hard to know what the vibe is there right now. All of a sudden, they're down on Kirk Cousins, but I still think they're better than Vegas. Vegas right now hadn't got a quarterback. So I'm going Minnesota -1, Atlanta at a pick'em in a 2-team teaser. You got to win both to win the bet. Kelly, I'll leave you with this. How do you get the emergency pizza?
I don't know, George. I don't really care. I'm not worried about it, but you can worry about that. I'm not.
I mean, we're running a lot of commercials about it, and the woman comes out of the tree to do that, but I've never seen her.
Maybe one of those drones in New Jersey can bring it down here to you. I don't know.
Billy, you work on that. Figure that out for tomorrow. We're done. This is 94.9, The Fan.